Okay, we're about to kick off our LumiVitae call tonight. For those of you that have never been in this space, I wholeheartedly welcome you. You are in some incredible hands tonight. As we said, Dr. Michelle Patrick has unfortunately had to attend to a patient. So instead, we have the wonderful Dr. Tyler LeBaron and 007 Bond himself, Peter Lumi Bond. Tonight, we're going to give you an overview of LumiVitae. So tonight is really like a super high level. It gives you a taste of everything that we're creating. It gives you a taste of the company, the products, some of the people, the vision, the mission. If there is anything else that you're wanting to dive into, please, whoever invited you to this space, go back to them and they're going to help to basically be your tour guide around. So with that said, let me jump in and I'm going to call these lovely men to the stage, to the floor. What do we say in Zoom? Actually, Pete, I'm going to get you to help me be co-host because we have lots of people still pouring in. Thank you so much. Okay, LumiVitae means light of life. We are here to ultimately create incredible wellness technology. And tonight, you're going to hear from probably, I would say, the most knowledgeable person around molecular hydrogen in general, right, Tyler? That is what you told me last time we spoke. You have the greatest general knowledge of molecular hydrogen. So molecular hydrogen is really this incredible element. It was, the first element of the first molecule of the universe. It created all of us, including the universe and living and everything that we see around it. But given that we have the genius of molecular hydrogen, I might get Tyler to describe what is molecular hydrogen? Where did it even come from? And why is it so important for us to listen to it and learn about it?
Yes. Okay. Thank you. I'm unmuted now. Well, first, I just want to clarify. I would certainly not say that I'm, whatever words you use, I think they were a little bit hyperbole, I guess we would say. I'm just a messenger here for Mr. Hydrogen, the lovely old molecule, and old because, as this quote here says, it is the first element in existence. Is the first element formed, and that's where everything came from. And it's interesting. I was thinking about this the other day. How the universe, as we know, is pretty much consists of 99. All matter is like 99% hydrogen, and that's also true with our bodies. I mean, when you really go to it and look at all the atoms of what makes up the body, it's like 99% hydrogen. And of course, if we talked earlier doing the math, knowing that the molecules in our body, 99%, well, 99 point close to 9% of all the molecules in our body are water molecules. Well, since water is H2O, so there's two hydrogen atoms in that water molecule, then we in that way we kind of resemble the universe in the sense that we're also 99% hydrogen. When we look, if we define it that way, it's all perspective, right? But so it's kind of neat when you think about that. And then of course, if hydrogen was the first element in existence, then the first molecule in existence would be the hydrogen molecule. So the H2 molecule, which is what we are talking about, the therapeutic effects of this gas, the hydrogen molecule.
Awesome. Awesome. I mean, from what and I've only been in this space for a really short time because I got very excited when I saw the incredible benefits that molecular hydrogen has for people. And we'll get you to dive into those a little bit later. So before we jump into that, I guess I'd better explain who I am. So my name is Taryn Lee. I am the founder and CEO of LumiVitae, a 7-figure-a-year entrepreneur that has been really, really passionate about creating freedom in people's lives. I'm really passionate about creating freedom in their bodies, in their minds, in their financial circumstances, whatever it might be, and creating beautiful communities around that. That's been my passion, and bringing LumiVitae to life with all of that has probably been, well, no, not probably, it is one of the best, one of the greatest blessings that I've ever had, to be able to share this and to be able to lead and guide this. So molecular hydrogen, it really is something that, is quite revolutionary. Even though it is the oldest molecule in the world, it is something that, and again, I might even get Tyler to chime in on this a little bit later. it really is something that I think is starting to gain a lot of traction. In LumiVitae, we aim to really be that educational force, to be that revolutionary force, if you like, around spreading the word around molecular hydrogen, around what it is, around what it creates, you know, around building a business around that also has the ability to also create freedom as well. So we are definitely looking at things in a completely new way. And, you know, even the way we might even look at molecular hydrogen, even the way we might even look at building businesses, building communities, all of that is really encompassed within LumiVitae. So I'm going to have a quick stop here at looking at Nuno Nina. So Nuno Nina is in fact one of the co-founders of LumiVitae. Now, why we see new science, and I would say, Tyler, you have traditional science, would we call it, or academic science? And it really is the merge of these two that make LumiVitae so beautiful, because Nuno Nina actually sees the world in a completely different way. He sees frequencies. So he sees things, how they operate differently. Now we put the bumblebee up there because, as Nuno says, the bumblebee, you know, from a scientific perspective, from a physics perspective, it shouldn't be able to fly. It's not even aerodynamic, right? Its bulbous little body and its tiny little wings shouldn't allow it to take off. But yet we see bumblebees floating around the planet doing incredible things, you know, pollinating the earth. So, you know, this is just, you know, Nuno's different way of looking at science and looking at the earth. But we also like to merge that with clinical research, with clinical science as well. We normally have in here the wonderful Dr. Michelle Patrick, but as I said, we actually have Dr. Tyler LeBaron, who is going to go through a little bit about molecular hydrogen, what its benefits are, and why it's so phenomenal for the body.
As in right now or later,
Yeah, as in right now, yes.
Well, there's a slide that I guess we can look at, right? Maybe we'll just talk about what you already have written here, because this does have some pretty unique benefits of molecular hydrogen, right? So, for example, its anti-allergic effects. This was a really interesting one because one of the first studies showed that hydrogen has antioxidant effects, but you know, that was just hydrogen kind of acting as this antioxidant. But when it was found that hydrogen had anti-allergic effects, this really sparked a lot of interest because it was able to do that without requiring any type of antioxidant activity. And this indicated that hydrogen is much more than just a common, simple antioxidant, but rather it forms it's a very unique and interesting molecule that regulates cell signaling, signal transduction, like how cells communicate to each other and with the intracellular communication. So its anti-allergic effects is very interesting, and it also, it's not, all of these benefits, they're not super powerful in the sense that it's like a strong pharmaceutical drug, because there's a reason why we have an allergic response to things, right? So you don't want to completely blunt any of these things, and hydrogen doesn't do that. And so we see these mild effects in the studies, from animal studies as well as the clinical studies. And then, you know, the anti-inflammatory effects. This also goes along the lines of its ability to influence signal transduction cascades, modifying, for example, pro-inflammatory cytokine levels and a lot of different transcription factors that creates inflammation, as well as its antioxidant activity. All of these are all connected. So like has like anticellular death effects, or what we call in the science anti-apoptosis. That's when these cells stop functioning very well, and then they just go through cell suicide. Basically, it's they just die. And by hydrogen helping to reduce an excessive amount of inflammation, they can help the cells operate normally, so they don't have to go through this apoptosis, this cell death. And of course, we know one of the hallmarks of aging is inflammation and oxidative stress and having all these issues. That's why it makes sense that hydrogen has anti-aging effects. It's supporting the immune system. Well, what's important with the immune system? Inflammation, right? You have to have an inflammatory response. You have to be able to create free radicals so you can inactivate pathogens And that's very important. All your immune system is regulated and controlled by your ability to create free radicals at the right place, so the right location, the right concentration, and so on, and target inflammation to certain areas. And so that's another reason why hydrogen could support the immune system. Increases the cellular metabolism. Hydrogen has some really unique effects on the mitochondria to increase the function of the mitochondria, both increase and the mitochondria is very interesting because some certain mitochondrial activators, like metformin, for example. Metformin actually has some benefits because it acts as a suppressor to the complex 1 of the mitochondria, but that ends up causing benefits for glucose regulation. And then in turn, that causes the mitochondria to upregulate its ability to function better later on. Hydrogen follows a lot of similar effects. And so its ability to regulate metabolism, we see this even in clinical studies where subjects we're doing a study on, say, metabolic syndrome. We want to look at levels of cholesterol or blood pressure or marks of oxidative stress, but we also look at their BMI and their weight. And at the end of the study, we noticed this trend, which is statistically significant, but a trend amongst all these studies, that on average, drinking hydrogen water leads to weight loss. And why would that be? Because we're improving the function of the mitochondria. We're activating things like FGF21, the fibroblast growth factor 21, which is a hepatic hormone that stimulates energy metabolism, and so on. And then we have the improving the redox status of the cell. This one's probably my favorite benefit on this, just because having an appropriate redox status, which is that ratio of antioxidants and oxidants, is so critical. Because as we talked about, like with the immune system, you have to have free radicals. You have to have oxidants in order for your immune system to even function. These oxidants play a very crucial role. In fact, oxygen is an oxidant, right? Like we need oxygen to live. That's why we are breathing air right now, so we can get that oxygen in our system, so we can have an oxidant. But if we get too much of an oxidized environment, then we'll suffer from oxidative stress. And yet, at the same time, if we're getting too much antioxidants or not enough oxidants, then we can have reductive stress. So the oxidation reduction is what we term redox. And we want to have a redox homeostasis. And molecular hydrogen can regulate that through a number of different pathways that we could get into if we wanted to. But it's really phenomenal that hydrogen is able to regulate these different pathways in our body's innate antioxidant enzymes so that we can have an optimal redox homeostasis. And then you have the reduced muscle fatigue. Many clinical studies have also demonstrated this. In fact, even in meta-analysis. So just so you're aware, when we look at research, there are different tiers of evidence. And those of you who've taken our MHI certification course, our level 1 certified, you'll recall that there are different tiers of evidence, right? Which most of us already can understand, but just to put a fine point on that, an animal study is not the same as a human study, right? And then a human study is not the same as a randomized placebo-controlled clinical trial, right? Well, if you take enough clinical studies and you have enough good ones that are randomized and well controlled, you can put them together and do a meta-analysis, which is when you group all the statistics and the numbers and the values together, and you do a statistical analysis on that together and determine whether or not the group as polled as a whole still has benefits. And often when clinical studies are tallied like this, then the effects seem to go away and we don't see benefits anymore. However, there's been enough clinical studies on the anti-fatigue effects of hydrogen that these have been pulled together, and when you do the statistical analysis, it's demonstrated that hydrogen does indeed appear to have an anti-fatigue effect. And so it can be great for exercise and sports athletes, but also just for the everyday person who just needs to feel a little bit more energy throughout the day. And then the next one here is the anti-diabetic effects. Again, because of hydrogen's ability to modulate your inflammatory status, your redox control, all of those things are going to help hydrogen be able to help improve your insulin sensitivity. So those who are suffering from insulin resistance. In fact, just some biochemistry for you, for those who are interested. What happens with insulin is when it gets put into the bloodstream, insulin then binds to the muscle cells and it activates this receptor called the tyrosine receptor kinase, and it causes this transporter to come out, and it grabs the glucose, and then glucose can come into the cell. And with the insulin resistance, that pathway doesn't work very well. But it turns out with some in vitro studies that molecular hydrogen, under conditions of hyperglycemia, where you have high glucose levels, can actually activate this same pathway as the PI3 kinase pathway of inducing tyrosine autophosphorylation, which is the same way insulin works. So in that way, hydrogen is acting like an insulin mimetic. And we see in clinical studies that hydrogen can help to lower blood glucose levels. Now, everybody is different, but one important thing is that there's no evidence that hydrogen induces hypoglycemia or low blood glucose levels. So people who are like type 1 diabetic or have other conditions or just normal, they don't need to worry about having glucose levels that are too low. Except potentially people who have type 2 diabetes who are taking insulin and then they start taking molecular hydrogen, and because hydrogen itself has glucose lowering effects, they may need to decrease the amount of insulin they're taking, so they're not taking too much, because then the insulin itself could induce hypoglycemia. So there's actually quite a bit of studies on the anti-diabetic effects of molecular hydrogen, lots from animals. In fact, in animal studies, hydrogen has been compared to metformin, which I mentioned earlier, but often hydrogen is just as effective, if not more effective, than metformin. That doesn't seem to be the case in clinical studies, but obviously there's a strong indication of benefits with that. Then you have this improved cognitive function of molecular hydrogen. Yeah, lots of studies on looking at the neurological conditions of hydrogen and increasing like blood flow to the brain, increasing or decreasing inflammation, oxidative stress. All of those are going to directly help with cognitive function, especially in disease conditions where there's ischemia or like low oxygen levels that can occur. Protecting our DNA and RNA, of course, because hydrogen is able to improve the redox status of the cell, so it can help prevent oxidative damage against our RNA or DNA, as well as increase our DNA repair mechanisms, because our DNA gets damaged all the time, and if it doesn't get repaired, that could lead to cancer. And so the fact that hydrogen can upregulate our DNA repair mechanisms is also another great reason to be taking molecular hydrogen, just so that we can ensure the fidelity of our DNA. Then protects from radiation. That's another, lots of studies on that. In fact, part of my PhD, we showed that hydrogen protects against radiation damage, and it did so because it could regulate these microRNAs, and microRNAs are important to influence gene expression, and we showed that molecular hydrogen could basically pre-treatment of molecular hydrogen could help protect the hearts of these rats from radiation damage. So another great benefit. And then protects the mitochondria. We've talked about that a little bit. And then also increasing mitochondrial biogenesis, because of course, the more mitochondria that you have, the healthier that you can be, because this way you can have enough energy so to do your normal things that you want, but also at the cellular level, when you think about your neurological system, I mean, you look like your brain, for example. I mean, your brain consumes, like 25% of all the oxygen and the calories that you use on a daily basis. That makes it the majority of your basal metabolic rate, because it's so metabolically active and demanding. And the mitochondria is the primary organelle that's producing all of this energy. So having high functioning mitochondria, or having more mitochondria, which is through mitochondrial biogenesis, is going to be very important, because molecular hydrogen has been shown specifically in animal studies to activate PGC1 alpha, which is a marker of mitochondrial biogenesis. And so that's almost like an exercise mimetic. In other words, when you exercise, you can also improve your mitochondria and get mitochondrial biogenesis. And hydrogen also seems to be helping with some of those same things. Again, it's not a potent drug, but all these things together with a healthy lifestyle is going to put you at the best chance of having success for optimal aging. So there's some benefits of hydrogen in a nutshell.
Wow, thank you, Tyler. As you can see, such an in-depth knowledge around molecular hydrogen. So I think all those things I was saying was actually true about you. So in all of this here that we've got on this list, I mean, it's a pretty incredible list, but I know by no means is it a fully extensive list. Is there anything else that you think is on there that you would love to share around molecular hydrogen?
Those are probably the main ones, just because they're actually quite general, in the sense that they cover so many things that end up becoming very specific. And another general one that I like is anti-stress effects, and what that means, well, actually you can interpret any way you want, and it's probably the right way. From a macro view, the stress of just our daily lives, hydrogen can help to regulate from our hormonal axis, like too much cortisol levels, or activation of the adrenal pituitary axis, and having these issues. There's some benefits that for hydrogen to be able to do that. In fact, even helping to be more in this parasympathetic state, as opposed to the sympathetic fight or flight activation all the time. Improving like heart rate variability potentially. A lot of areas with that stress, and then also on the cellular level, where hydrogen can help protect us against different types of assaults or stresses, whether that is from different types of pesticides that are out there, or environmental toxins, or maybe our body's going through some infection, or whatever else that's going on that is causing a stress directly to our cells. Hydrogen has this anti-stress effect because it's able to regulate our own gene expression and everything. And so that's actually one of the core benefits that we talk about again in our MHI certification courses, is its anti-stress effects, so that people can learn how to talk about molecular hydrogen and understand what those benefits are.
Yeah, incredible. And if you haven't done Tyler's course, he runs the Molecular Hydrogen Institute, and he really teaches you how to critically think about molecular hydrogen, the scientific studies, plus also all of the benefits, how to really speak about it. So it's definitely well worth doing. I know many of you that are on here have already done it. It's an incredible course. It's something that we at LumiVitae really, really support, because we want the people to be more educated around molecular hydrogen, and to have, more just critical thinking around their own health, actually, in general, but especially around molecular hydrogen. So definitely drop into that and get yourself certified as well, which is incredible. You have knowledge like Tyler, or at least
Yes.
a piece of knowledge like Tyler.
No, thank you. In fact, the youngest person to be certified right now is 9 years old, and
Wow.
they did it all by themselves. I'm probably going to do an interview here with them in a little bit, and ask them hydrogen questions. So everybody can do it. You don't have to be a scientist. It's literally geared for anybody at any age, that you can be successful. You just put the time into it.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, while I've got you here, I might ask you a few more questions, because we don't often get Tyler with us on these opportunity calls. But I know when I was very first looking into, building LumiVitae, and obviously basing it around molecular hydrogen, because, I was seeing as well, so many incredible benefits of molecular hydrogen. And I thought to myself, if you've got, like, this list is pretty incredible, right? What it does for the human body. And I thought, if that's the case, then how come everybody doesn't know about molecular hydrogen yet? How come it hasn't really gone out into the world? And one of the primary, I mean, you can speak to this too if you like, Tyler, but one of the primary things I remember reading was that, and reading often, was that there was just a lack of awareness and education around molecular hydrogen. And that is one of the reasons why, we're so supportive of Tyler and his institute to really help bring that awareness and education around. In saying that, we obviously have our bottle, and as you're going through all those things, it was literally making me thirsty to drink more molecular hydrogen from our incredible water bottle. How quickly is hydrogen doing things inside of us? How quickly is it like activating us? And how often should we really be drinking this?
Yeah. Well, first, just to your comment on the awareness, I fully agree with you that, I mean, hydrogen, a lot of this research mainly started in 2007 in Japan, and then has been growing exponentially since then with the research. And most people don't know about it just because of that awareness has not been there. And I really appreciate your support for me and Molecular Hydrogen Institute and what we're about. And so that the feeling is reciprocal and mutual. That's why I am very supportive of being here on the call and helping educate people, because I want people to know about these amazing benefits, and to know about molecular hydrogen, and have the opportunity to get hydrogen from a real hydrogen product. I mean, there are a number of hydrogen products on the market, but unfortunately, some of those don't actually provide hydrogen, and that's very unfortunate. So I'm really I really appreciate, Taryn, that you are building your company based upon education and the science, and trying to get that clinical research and really getting that there. Even though, as you talked about before, with you know, the science and the other ways of looking at things, because not everybody is a scientist, and it's difficult to conceptualize or conceive all of those things. And I think that bee or bumblebee is a good example of that. Technically, we can explain scientifically how a bee flies, and we have equations that, you know, some calculus derivatives and some integrals to go through to explain the rates of, you know, all these things. And most people, their eyes are going to gloss over, right? And so it's a lot more poetic just to hear another explanation of how the bee flies, and it makes you feel happy and you're ready to go. And so I think the merging of this together, but really having a foundation of science, is really key. And I guess I'm just expressing my appreciation to you and everything, and your company for what you're building. Before I answer your other questions about how soon can we get the benefits, right? That's really what we want to know. Well, it's interesting. First off, we are actually working on a paper right now that we're going to be publishing soon, and we found that molecular hydrogen can exert certain effects within as little as 2 minutes. And so it's affecting our signal transduction pathways or different areas in the cells that I'm not at liberty to disclose certain details right now, but we can see certain effects very quickly. And now that's at a cell culture level. Now, when you drink hydrogen water, you actually do see increases in breath hydrogen concentration within about 2 minutes after drinking hydrogen water. So if you have like your bottle, for example, and you take a drink of the water, the hydrogen water goes into your stomach, then the hydrogen molecules begin to diffuse into the body and get into the bloodstream, and it gets pumped to the heart. Then the heart pumps the hydrogen-rich blood to your lungs, and you exhale it. And you can start measuring that within 2 minutes and reaching a peak in 5 to 15 minutes or so. Also something we cover in our certification courses. This is the pharmacokinetics of hydrogen. And then as far as seeing these benefits, again, in the cell culture studies, we from as little as 2 minutes to depending on what we're looking at, you know, it could be several hours. And then we also see protective effects even after that for weeks, days, to even, I'm gonna say from hours to days to even weeks after taking hydrogen water, we can still see residual protective effects of molecular hydrogen. So it's a very fascinating area, and it speaks to the fact that hydrogen is influencing the gene expression and doing a lot of things at this molecular level, and then leaving. It like does its thing, and then it leaves. You exhale it out, it goes out of the body, and then those benefits can remain, as opposed to the hydrogen molecule requiring to be present in the cells at the right time and the right place and everything the entire time. It doesn't have to do that. It just prepares the body, and then it's prepared for whatever assault or stress comes later.
Incredible. Obviously, for those of you that don't know, you know, one of the products that we launched to the world was our, you know, our liquid light. Well, sometimes people call it liquid light. Sometimes they call it a vitality vessel. Michelle calls it a microcosm of the universe. Whatever you might choose to call it. Some people just call it simply a water bottle. Whatever you might choose to call it. This is what we decided to really launch the world with. You know, obviously it's this beautiful piece of technology, and something that people are going to literally just simply replace another behavior they already do, right? We're already drinking water. We might as well be drinking, you know, molecular hydrogen water or water infused with molecular hydrogen. So it's a really nice way to be able to get, you know, molecular hydrogen into the body. Now, I'm going to let you go in a moment, Tyler, because I know that you're super busy. But one last thing I wanted to ask you before I get Peter to dive into the water bottle and all of its features is I just wanted to ask you, you know, you've been in the space of molecular hydrogen now, I think since what, 2009? Was that since you've been in this space?
Yeah.
So, and one of the things that I know that, you know, we've spoken about before is that really where you see molecular hydrogen on the, I guess, on the level of awareness scale, you know. So here we are, I think, you know, you had said once before, like you were starting to see it bubble in 2017. and it peaking at a certain time. We're here obviously in 2024. So where are you seeing the market in terms of molecular hydrogen?
Yeah. So I started 2009, and then it again, especially it was in Japan. So I was in Japan doing research in 2013, and you could get hydrogen water even back then at the different gyms. I would work out at a gym there, and there was hydrogen water, like a dispenser you could get hydrogen water from. So that was kind of an interesting thing, and I'm sure we'll eventually have similar things here in North America as well, like that. And then in 2015, I had said that probably 2017 will probably be a time that a lot of the influencers and other people will hear about hydrogen and then maybe start talking about it. And that's, we can, post retroactively go through, we can see, like that's when a lot of people started hearing about hydrogens around that time. And so then I was thinking, so probably by 2027 would be the year where general consumers, not just your influencers or top people that are always trying to do like the latest greatest hacks or whatever, but when more of the normal people will start to hear about hydrogen, those consumers who want to be on the cutting edge of things, that's like a 2027 area, and I think that's when the true wave will really hit, so that it can bring it to the masses. So so then you could say 2037 or something is when like that'll be hydrogen. Everyone knows about hydrogen. Like, yeah, of course I drink hydrogen water. Like that's what we do. And I think there's a lot of things going to influence that. It's certainly different. Peter and I talked last time we were on the call about the concern, is hydrogen water just a fad or something, and we talked about some things that indicate there's probably not just a fad, because one of the hallmarks of these fads, water fads in particular, is the incredible lack of scientific evidence behind it. Not, and if there's any science at all, it comes from just one couple studies funded by the industry in one small place nobody knows about, which stands in stark contrast to molecular hydrogen, which has now over 3,000 publications from universities, very credible universities all over the world, independent research groups looking at this with government funding, not just industry sponsored research or something. And we can look at the markets like in Japan and other places in Asia, where things have just continued to grow, and we're just following suit, just a little bit behind them, and it's not going down there. So we don't, there's no reason for it to decrease here. We're doing more research. We're finding more and more reasons why people should consider taking molecular hydrogen. So I think this is an excellent opportunity for people to educate themselves first about molecular hydrogen, and be one of the first ones to try it to see if it improves their health or their life, and share it with others so they can also have that opportunity. I think maybe that's maybe even a responsibility or something we might even feel when we have something that has helped us a lot or has a lot of potential to help somebody, to share that with others. We're not trying to force them, but letting them know what their opportunities are, what their options are, because you can only make a choice based upon the knowledge you have. And so as we educate and spread this information to other people, people can then and only then have the choice of whether or not they would like to try that.
Incredible. Thank you. Thank you, Tyler, for being on today and sharing some of your incredible wisdom with us. I look forward to chatting with you more in the future. I know we have a couple more calls coming up for people to jump on. And one in particular, I'm not sure exactly when it's scheduled, but I know you and I have a call where we really dive into the full, the market, the business opportunity, and everything around molecular hydrogen, why it exists, and why this is such an exciting time now. But anyway, thank you so much for jumping on with us and sharing your knowledge. I know everyone absolutely here at LumiVitae loves and adores you and is really appreciative of everything that you bring.
Well, thank you so much, and my appreciation again to you, Taryn, to the company, and to all other affiliates for your support and for helping spread this education, this information, and for taking our certification courses, because we want to help everybody, and this I think will really help you guys. So I just want to say thank you again for everyone's support, and we will see you guys later.
Awesome. Thank you,
Bye.
Tyler. Bye-bye. Okay, so amazing. Thank you so much. And obviously that was like very in-depth knowledge because Tyler has such an incredible, he's such an incredible bank of knowledge. I love when having chats with him and I'm like, well, what does it do for that? And how does it do that? And he's just able to just like ping, ping, ping everything off the top of his head. It's so incredible. Okay, so we also have another incredible gentleman with us, Peter Szasz, top income earner, 007 of Lumi, for those that didn't see his birthday message that we have. So, Peter, I thought I would give you the honor tonight in as you are filling Michelle's shoes of going through the incredible water bottle or liquid light device, whatever it is you might like to call it. What do you call it actually, Peter?
Um, Liquid light as well.
Yeah, yeah. If you would like to go through this incredible device that is how we're really, one, creating this amazing business that we are bringing as well as creating this movement, and how we're planning on really, I guess, impacting more people with molecular hydrogen. I mean, you just heard from Dr. Tyler LeBaron the phenomenal benefits that you have in having this as part of your lifestyle. And so, there are other ways that you can bring molecular hydrogen into your world. But, replacing, I guess, the drinking water that you would normally be having, this is such an incredible way to literally get those benefits ongoing all day, by drinking this. So, Peter, or your new name 007, would you like to go through the liquid light device?
Thanks, Taryn. It's going to be hard to follow Tyler, but I'll do my best. And yeah, I've just been looking at the chat and just incredible. Some of the people that have been using, of course, our incredible bottle or drinking liquid light, and just some of the testimonials. I mean, people losing 6 kilos, 9 kilos, compromised kidney function reversed, became happier, less stress, calmer, clear mind. Someone had some severe health problems, needing amputation after drinking molecular hydrogen water, no longer needing that. So just, yeah, it's incredible just seeing these testimonials pouring in. And so that's what it's about, and that's what we're here for. And like Tyler explained, there is profound health benefits. And the research is ongoing and discovering even more and more. So we've already got extensive scientific evidence of how powerful it is. And like Taryn did say, this isn't something that you have to introduce or change habits. We all have to, and we all drink water. Water is life. It is the second most important thing after oxygen, right? Without oxygen, you can only live a few minutes. And then without water, a very short amount of time. And so why not, instead of just drinking that water that's not really getting deep into your cells, hydrating you cellularly and going past the blood-brain barrier and into all those places to do that incredible magic, as the God molecule, as it's also referred to. Just pour your water into our incredible liquid light vessel and infuse it with therapeutic molecular hydrogen and get the list of the extensive health benefits. So why LumiVitae? Well, like Tyler did mention, and also because as awareness grows, also as more and more awareness around molecular hydrogen grows, there's also going to be a lot more also products. And Tyler did mention that, and this is what I've learned as well through my time in the past year, getting really involved with LumiVitae and with molecular hydrogen, that there's unfortunately some inferior products out there. And so we need to be very careful when we're choosing not just LumiVitae, but any product of doing good research and understanding what we're going to use and spending our money and then trying to improve our health. Because sometimes we can actually do the opposite. And I'll explain why. So, firstly, obviously, when you're looking at a molecular hydrogen bottle, there's primarily two things you need to look at. Firstly, of course, to ensure that it produces the minimum therapeutic levels of molecular hydrogen. Now, most products out there, most bottles out there, unfortunately, don't. They fail. If you actually put them to the test, they fail. Then secondly, if it does produce molecular hydrogen, you want to make sure that the water that you're drinking is not containing any harmful toxic byproducts, because the electrolysis process that does happen in these bottles, if it's not done correctly, the electrolysis process can infuse and deposit and put toxic, harmful byproducts into your water, like chlorine and maybe even heavy metals, BPAs. So if you don't understand the product you're purchasing, you could not only not be getting any therapeutic molecular hydrogen, but you could be drinking actually toxic water. So you could be putting clean water in and getting toxic water out. So they're the two important things. Now, how can you be sure that LumiVitae produces therapeutic molecular hydrogen and is clean and pure? Because we have IHSA certification, and that is something that very, very few products, especially bottles out there, have. And IHSA is the International Hydrogen Standards Association, and it's basically a third-party organization and company that's all about molecular hydrogen, also awareness, education, and all the good stuff. But they also test products to ensure for purity, to ensure that they meet the therapeutic levels of molecular hydrogen. And they take apart, they dissect the entire bottle. They also look at your online presence, how you show up, what are you saying. And so getting this certificate that's third-party tested gives that credibility, and you can be assured yourself and anyone that you'll share it with that they're getting a quality product that's proven to work. So molecular hydrogen is scientifically proven. Our bottle is third-party tested and proven. Okay, now after that, what makes our bottle unique is also it's one of the highest quality handcrafted, if not the highest, on the market. And it's got full in-house from start to finish production and manufacturing. So that's, again, many bottles out there are generally white label or a copy, and all produced sort of in the same factory, and they're just different labels. Ours is handcrafted by Nuno Nina himself, and every part of the bottle is handcrafted by him. And so it's full exclusivity only to LumiVitae. It's not a white label copy or a rebrand, and it's only going to be exclusive to us. We also have exclusive frequency programs in the lid. So this is where the lid imprints some information into the water, and there's three uses, three functions. One is for energy, one is for recovery, and then the last one is LumiVitae, and LumiVitae actually stands for light of life. And basically, in a nutshell, that's essentially, in a way, mimicking the sun. It uses basically like the sun uses its rays, that LumiVitae frequency uses light frequencies to infuse the water, unlike the other two that just use traditional frequencies. Also, we have the highest quality PEM membrane, proton exchange membrane, again, designed by Nuno Nina. And what makes our one unique to all the other ones out there is that it's the strongest, most durable. So arguably the second best out on the market is DuPont, and that can only withstand up to a maximum of about 60 degrees if you want to put in hot water. Our PEM membrane can withstand up to 100 degrees. So it can withstand basically boiling water. So that's how strong and durable it is, that it can withstand boiling water, basically. So we have the highest grade, highest purity PEM membrane. Also, like I said, we have all fully non-toxic materials, and that's proven by our IHSA testing. So you can be sure that there's no BPAs or heavy metals or chlorine or anything leaching into the drinking water. Also, it's been, sort of stress tested in a way with the previous model that Nuno created that was used in his clinic by the thousands and tens of thousands of patients. So that's how this bottle actually came about. The current version is because Nuno created one for the use of his patients in his clinic. And then, of course, we decided to take this and light up the world, as we call it, with liquid light. Then, of course, when you are also purchasing a product, you want to make sure that you have good warranty and support. And that's another thing when you are considering molecular hydrogen bottles. There's a lot of companies out there that sell you a bottle, but then you have zero support. You can't get help, and forget it if you have any issues with it. They fall apart quickly, and you're basically wasted your money. So over here, just 2-year warranty, and there's 21-day money back, and we have an exceptional support that if you have any issues, you're guaranteed to get help, support, and replacement if there's any manufacturer defect. And also we have some incredible, we have some meticulously placed magnets into the base that, again, Nuno Nina has created to basically mimic the magnetic field of the Earth. Magnetism, much like the sun, is also plays a vital role in shaping life on this planet. And so what Nuno's basically done is brought that into the base of our bottle to, bring that Earth's healing and all the incredible benefits that the Earth's magnetic field offers to life. So that's why that's why Michelle calls it a microcosm, and that's why we call it like a mini planet, because sort of we got the frequencies in the lid, magnets in the bottom, and then of course incredible therapeutic molecular hydrogen in the middle. So that's our main reasons why LumiVitae stands out above the rest and is one of the best, or the best, on the market. So you want to make sure when it comes to your health, you get the best. And this is why you would want to choose LumiVitae. Also, we've got 7-color chromatography, which is all about enhancing your mood. Different colors can help you with whatever mood you need at that time. And yeah, like I said, what's incredible about our bottle is that it's come from sort of clinical experience and clinical knowledge and clinical care. So Nuno Nina has helped over 70,000 people through his multiple clinics around the world. So he's been doing incredible work and primarily using molecular hydrogen. So we've got that extensive backing of clinical experience, and that's what he's brought into this bottle, designing this bottle, making this light vessel. And the cost is basically €488 plus local taxes and shipping. And I think that's about it.
Thank you, Pete. Thank you Thank you so much for going through that. So you can see, like, a really incredible device that we are so fortunate to be able to launch to the world. And so fortunate that we have such a beautiful looking device as well that we're able to launch with the world. I know people always comment on what
the sexiest as well. I forgot to
mention. Yeah, not just the highest quality, not just the best on the market, also the sexiest bottle as well. And that equally, I love looking through all of the messages, all of the testimonials. If you're wanting to see some more testimonials, we also have a Facebook group. I don't know if anyone's put the link in there. I think our wonderful Jonah is also on the call tonight, so maybe you could drop that link in there as well. And you can just see, like, people using it, their real everyday stories of how much it's helped them, whether it's from really big things like, we've heard from this morning, to even other things where people are noticing that their hair growing more, their skin being clearer, their eyes being brighter, all of this stuff from, them sleeping better, whatever it might be. having even amazing benefits with their pets, with their plants, with like, people using it in so many different ways and just seeing such amazing benefits. So thanks for Jonah for putting in that testimonial group as well. So if you're a little more curious of some of the other things that this amazing device is doing for people, then jump into that space as well.
Just one more quickly, I just saw depression. There's someone posted here that really helped them with depression, and how many people are suffering from depression. Unfortunately, we do live in a world where everyone is on that go and anxiety and stress. We live in that type of world, so definitely can help so many people out there. So yeah, it's just incredible seeing the testimonials, and that's what, like I said, we're here for, is making a change and lighting up the world, as we call it, alleviating people from all these health complications, health challenges that today's world, today's environment has created and has brought to us. Yeah,
definitely. And something that I know you're equally as passionate about as I am, Peter. That's why I think we've worked together for, I don't know, almost a decade, I guess, that we have worked together on being, I guess, freedom fighters around the world to help people have more freedom in their own, bodies, in their own finances, in their own critical thinking, in all of it. I'm going to now go through some of the parts of LumiVitae as a community and also as a business, because obviously this is an amazing device and it absolutely needs to be shared with the world. Molecular hydrogen needs to be shared with the world. And so it's incredible for us to be able to have the opportunity to build a business model that uses this as well, a business model that enables people to create their own freedom, but also has such tremendous impact on people's health and wellness and well-being. So, like I said, in the introduction to myself, and I'm sure, Pete, you feel the same way, and many others that are probably on this call are listening to the replay that also share this product and build their own business, their own freedom as well with it. It feels like such a blessing to be part of something that has so many benefits, that has, that is really new and emerging. So we're in such incredible, beautiful seats right now to make the most impact and to be able to make the most of this opportunity as well, while we're really creating something really special. But we're also doing this in community. We're also doing this with a community of beautiful, like-minded people that also want to do that also want to learn more, share more, grow more, create freedom for everyone, and really support each other as well. So the purpose of LumiVitae is really to create freedom. And we do that through our vision to light up the world, so we can create the ultimate human experience for everybody. We know that if you're well-resourced, if you're healthy in your body, if you've got community around you that are supporting you and like-minded, then you're able to literally light up more. We want people to really be in their own genius, and each of us has their own genius. Each of us have these incredible gifts to be able to give back to the planet. Whether it is that you're, a beautiful mother, whether it is that you're a hairdresser, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a genius creating all incredible things, whatever it is, I truly believe that that's where we need to be, is enabling people to really be in that, to help light up the world too. And how are we going to do that? Well, our mission is really creating the next evolution in technology and wellness. You've seen a little peek. Well, you haven't seen a peek. You've seen a very good dose, in fact, of the bottle and what it does. I think Peter did a really great job at quite detailed explaining the bottle and why ours is so incredible. But you've seen a taste of what it is that we are creating. And there's so much more in the pipeline in terms of some really exciting, evolutions in technology and wellness. But this is also a co-creation. Community is such a huge part of what it is that we're building here as well. That's part of the new way. I think that we came from such incredible, strong ties and roots of community. And I would say, even though these things here, as amazing as they are, as amazing as they have been, these tools, our phones and whatnot, to enable us to create freedom, there's also part of them that have, disconnected us in many ways, disconnected us from community. And so bringing us back into that space again, where we're really able to connect with each other and co-create, because ultimately building LumiVitae is in co-creation with you. each and every one of you, whether it is you're wanting to, you know, share some of these products with just friends and family, or just use it yourself so you have your own incredible benefits, or you see this and you also can feel this pull that people end up feeling, this kind of magnetism that LumiVitae has, that you can feel like, I want to be part of this. I want to help, you know, spread the word of molecular hydrogen. I want to help, you know, create more freedom for people. I want to do it in community where people are really supported and like-minded and are wanting to make a, you know, a ripple of change. Because ultimately we know, yes, Lumi magic, because ultimately we know when we are really creating these communities that are able to critically think for themselves, that are, you know, well resourced in terms of their finances, that are feeling strong and healthy within their bodies, that we're really going to create that shift. We're really going to create change and create that revolution. So LumiVitae is, you know, obviously that's our vision, our mission, and our purpose, and all of that is driven into every aspect of what we do. The foundations, or I would say the ecosystem of what it is that we're building, is really these here. You know, Elevate is our education, again, to elevate our own critical thinking. And we have incredible people like Dr. LeBaron, Dr. Michelle Patrick, and so many other phenomenal educators that we have within our community, like really, really phenomenal people. Here to really help educate us. Enhance is our to enhance performance or your athletic ability, or maybe you're an entrepreneur or a super busy person. That's our line of products there. Harmony is our wellness line of products. That's what our bottle sits inside of. It's all about that oxidation reduction. That is what we're trying to create in the body, that harmony. You know, Luminous is our beauty range, and Abundance is our opportunity, you know, sharing these products. And you'll see here just a taste of when we're creating these, you know, how do they really fit into the core purpose of LumiVitae, the vision of what we're creating? How is it helping and supporting the mission? So these are not just words. They are really, you know, they are the fabric in which we really weave this tapestry together. So creating a new way. Because as I've mentioned, you know, so many times throughout all of this, creating a new way is about creating a new way to build, is about creating a new way to create companies, to create communities, to support the human body. You know, even creating a new way in how we compensate our members as well. If we take a quick look here, you'll see LumiVitae, in the bigger vision of LumiVitae, is also the retail, the commercial side, the medical and wellness clinics, the education and training. And if you're on here in this space here, you know, the partner products and opportunity. And we aim to really enable you to be able to have an opportunity that even through our commercial side to pay out through your lineage. So for those community members that you bring, that's what we call your lineage, your team. Through education and training, through partner products like our beautiful water bottle, but also through our shared abundance. You know, our compensation plan has some really unique aspects to it that allow us to really share in share pools. And so, you know, it was designed that way because, again, I really believe in collaboration over competition. It was really designed that way to bring people more into harmony, to bring people more into community. You'll even see this is an example where 3% of everything that LumiVitae creates goes into our profit pool, where current, future, whatever it is, goes inside of there, whether it's part of our partner products or not. And those of you that are able to tap into that will also receive, you know, from that abundance pool. So where are we now and where are we going? Well, you already heard from Dr. LeBaron how exciting it is, this space that we're in right now, where we are in 2024, where we know that it's going to hit the masses in 2027. So right now, from a business perspective, this is such an incredible seat to be sitting in. You know, we launched our company on November 7, which is Nuno's birthday. From there, we have had over 10,000 members join us, or 10,000 brand partners join us on this beautiful vision and mission. But we know that by the end of this year, because what happens is the network effect kicks in, and we will have somewhere between 30 to 50,000 affiliates join us. My question to you, if you're wanting to be really part of this, or there is some kind of thread that you're wanting to follow, you know, will they be part of your lineage? That would be my question to you. We know that, you know, by 2027, it's going to hit mainstream. So again, you're in incredible seats right now to really make the most of this. You know, when I initially did the business plan last year, about this time last year, when I initially did the business plan for LumiVitae, I remember putting in there like 10 million would be our stretch goal for 2024. I thought, you know, I'd been part of other companies that, you know, they'd hit 10 million and whatnot. So I thought this would be our stretch goal. Our current growth rate right now is 20 million for 2024, which means we've well exceeded what it is that we believed that we would be able to do. So that's pretty exciting for us this year. But what that really does is catapult us into our second and third year. It's really in those years where it's truly that life-changing income that you're able to tap into. And, you know, Peter and I can probably speak to this quite well because, you know, in a previous company, we were in these seats where you are right now at this exact time, where a company had, you know, had been about in this position. And it was really in our second and third year, or the company's second and third year, that Peter and I had started, and we're really able to leverage that, you know, creating six-figure incomes within that. That is exactly what is available to all of you right here, right now, to something that actually has more science around it, that actually even has more opportunity around it. So for those of you sitting in these seats, I really believe it's quite exciting, because it is in the next year and in the years 2 and 3 that we will hit 100, 200 million in terms of sales revenue. And they're great numbers, right? But ultimately, what it ultimately means is how many people we're able to impact. When we hit those numbers, that's not just about the dollars. It's actually about the amount of lives that we're able to touch. It's the amount of people that are now getting molecular hydrogen into their bodies. So that was really the overview of LumiVitae. I know tonight there was a lot of information. You know, there's a lot to touch on in terms of LumiVitae. There's a lot that we're doing in this really exciting space. But ultimately, we aim to collaborate with the best people, and you can already see some of that, you know, whether it is Dr. Tyler, LeBaron, Nuno, Nina, Dr. Michelle Patrick. I mean, so many amazing people that are part of our community and attracted to our community, creating the best products and continuing to create the best products for you, sourcing the best education. I mean, tonight, who didn't learn something from Dr. Tyler LeBaron in terms of molecular hydrogen? I'm sure many of you, you know, took away something from that incredible well of wisdom that he has around hydrogen. Designing the best platforms to share not just our genius and the genius that we have here collected, but really your genius too. As I said, we're here to light up the world, and I believe each and every one of you have a beautiful genius inside of you, and we want to find ways to help to share that with our community as well, because this is all about building freedom and lighting up the world. So with that, I invite you to be part of it. I invite you to begin with us. If you have more questions around any part of tonight, if you want to know more about molecular hydrogen, the bottle, the compensation plan, the company, the vision, the mission, whatever it is, then please go back to the person who invited you to this space. Go back to them. They will be your tour guide around your questions, around the tools that they'll be able to give you to answer any of your questions. But you might also be in this space, I know, like many of you often are, that are just like, you know what, there was enough here tonight for me to say, let's just try this. Let's give it a shot and try this bottle. Let me see if I can feel what you know, I've heard inside of, you know, many of the testimonials, if I can have molecular hydrogen as part of my life. If that's you right now, also go back to the person who invited you to this space and get them to get you started on our amazing molecular hydrogen. As a reminder, I think we have almost sold out of our limited edition Atlantic blue bottles. I know this is a favorite to so many of you. So if you are wanting to get on board, and if this is the color that you want, we have almost sold out. We may have even sold out. So if you want to grab this, I would definitely jump in and make sure you grab that as well. This replay will be available, fingers crossed, if Zoom has recorded it for us. It will be available for us, so it'll be in all the Telegram groups and whatnot. Thank you so much, Peter, for your wisdom as well, your incredible knowledge and wisdom and everything that you do for our community. I will say thank you for Tyler, but I think he's jumped off now. Hopefully we will get him back on more incredible opportunity calls for you to dive into as well. And with that, Thank you so much for each and every one of you for being here with us, and we will see you next time. We have this call on Thursday that happens at 11 a.m. UK time. That's to able to help our communities in Australia, New Zealand, and Asia be able to jump on as well. So if you have people in that space, let them know. And again, they'll be in the Facebook group or the Telegram chat, the information around that. Yes, 8 p.m. Australia time on Thursday. Thank you so much for everyone jumping on this call, and we shall see you next time.
Thanks, guys. Bye.